You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, we are joined by Sam Lance, a recruiting expert over at Zagsblog.com. We just talked about Kiyan Anthony's decision, which is going to occur on November 15th. He is choosing between three schools: Syracuse, USC, and Auburn. So stay tuned for November 15th because that is going to probably be a pretty fun day for Syracuse based on what Sam has said here on this podcast, where Syracuse is the heavy favorite to land him. You're not the only one saying that. Seems like everyone is saying that Syracuse is the favorite for him, but we'll see what happens on November 15th. Let's now go to what we know, because we know that Syracuse has three players in its class of 2025. And let's start off with the best of them all right now, and that is Sadiq White, a 2025 five-star forward. He committed to Syracuse, I believe, over the summer. It was a while ago, but he was the first domino to fall in this class. How has he been? How has he been progressing so far? Obviously, he transferred to IMG Academy. How are things going over there?
Yeah, I haven't been able to tune in to any IMG games or anything like that. But I would assume that Sadiq White will be a big piece for them this year. Really, I think the thing to note with Sadiq White is he has been on the recruiting Kiyan Anthony train for quite some time now, and I guarantee you he is continuing to recruit Kiyan Anthony pretty hard to Syracuse, and I think the two really look forward to playing together. I know, this past summer, both of them telling me how they want to bring a national title back to Syracuse and all that jazz. So really, I think Sadiq White, he's fallen a little bit in the rankings. If you look at it, he's fallen.
On three. So it's funny you mentioned that because On three dropped him. ESPN raised him. It seems to be a lot of variance with him. Is there something up with his, I know it seems to me he's got a lot of potential, right? He's got a lot of potential. What are some of the areas where he has to work on?
Yeah, I think just his shooting probably isn't at the level that you want it to be at for somebody who's planning on playing the college 3 or 4. So definitely the shooting end of things. I really wouldn't look into the rankings all that much. I'd look at how he performs at IMG Academy this year. I would assume that Sadiq White Jr. is going to have a pretty good year at IMG, and his ranking will probably go up a little bit because of that. But really, I think just shooting the basketball is probably what Sadiq White needs to get better at, because we know he's very tenacious. He's very good at getting downhill, driving the basketball, finishing in the lane, things like that. But I think just the shooting aspect, maybe making plays for his teammates could get a little better, because he's really electric on the defensive end, offensively, just getting downhill and just being really a big energy type guy.
But I mean, from what you're saying, though, that might be the reason for the variance there. There's maybe one area like an ESPN that's very much valuing his potential, and there's maybe On three, which is like, well, where is he at right now? Maybe you just split the difference. Regardless, he is a terrific prospect in Sadiq White, and we cannot wait for him to get on the hill for next season. Not this season, next season. Let's go to the second commit. We're going in chronological order here. Aaron Womack, a 2025 3-star guard. You spoke with him on the phone. I mean, can you speak about maybe his excitement level of coming to the hill?
Yeah, really speaking with Aaron was pretty awesome. He kind of explained to me how things moved really fast with Syracuse. It was kind of, getting them on the visit and then let's do this thing. And he was all for it. He couldn't be happier that he is, Syracuse Orange. And he even admitted to me, he said, quote, "When I got on the visit, I was a little nervous, but then my nerves settled down and I just fell in love with the campus, fell in love with the people." And just talking with Aaron, he seems like a kid who just, he knows what's going on. He's got it. He's got the work ethic, I think. And he understands, he's not this highly touted recruit that's coming in to Syracuse and is expected to be, like a one and done, do this and that and the third. He knows that he's probably more of a developmental piece. Autry wants to bring him in, develop him into the player that he thinks he can be. So I think with Aaron, it's going to be kind of a waiting game for him, producing at Syracuse. It might take, a couple of years for him to do that. But I think whenever he gets there, he's going to be a pretty special player. And the thing that stands out to me, he shot 41 of 115 from three-point range this summer playing with the Wisconsin Playground. That guy is not afraid to shoot the ball. And he made it.
That's not bad. That's about 36%.
He made it at a pretty decent clip. So he's not afraid. He's not scared. And he's at Dominican I believe that's in Wisconsin this year. And he's going to be kind of the senior leader, the main guy for that team. So I think kind of him playing through that will also be pretty beneficial for his development. But yeah, Aaron's probably, a 2, 3, 4 year guy. But once he gets to year 3 or 4, I think he could be a really special player.
Awesome. So you mentioned how they talk about his potential, and you've talked about it. Coach Autry said about the potential and him growing, how he's more of a developmental piece. Where do they see his potential? Like, what's the sky is the limit, but what is like the ceiling for him?
Yeah, I think just kind of being your 3-and-D, kind of do it all wing will kind of be the ceiling for him. His father, Aaron Womack Sr., actually played basketball at SEMO and then professionally in Argentina. So, Aaron has the genes of somebody who could be a pro, which is cool to think about. Really, the big thing that he told me is a big reason why he committed to Syracuse in the first place is because they see a lot of potential in him, and Syracuse believes in him. And whenever you have a Power 5 school like Syracuse who believes in a guy like that, I tend to align with the school and think that, this kid could be something. So I think Aaron Womack will be a great player for Syracuse down the road.
Awesome. So that, I think, covers it for Aaron Womack. We also went over Sadiq White earlier. Let's go over the kid from Australia, Luke Fennell, a 2025 combo guard. This kind of like the Aaron Womack. They came within like a week of each other. Both of them were kind of out of the blue. So obviously he's in Australia. I don't know if you've ever been to Australia. If you have, you can speak now. Have you?
I have not. I have never been out of the country, actually.
Oh, really? Like not even like a Canada or something?
No.
Wow.
I got to take a vacation.
We got to get you cultured. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. But anyway, Luke Fennell from Australia. Maybe that'll be your first trip. Scouting Luke Fennell for us, okay? That's your trip, all right? Even though you haven't really seen him play in person, obviously, what type of guard do you think he is, and what do you think that Syracuse should expect from him?
Yeah, so the first thing that kind of jumps off the page is he's a 6'6" guard. He's a bigger guard. He's been described as a combo guard. Really just kind of in the NBA ranks, we're seeing the shift to, bigger playmaking guards, scoring guards like a Luka. I mean, Luka's like 6'4", 6'5". Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is up there as well. We're kind of seeing, NBA teams and college teams gravitate towards having these bigger guards. Another thing to point out, he's a 2-time gold medalist with the U18 national team, so he has a lot of FIBA experience. The biggest thing that I've heard about this guy, it's just kind of the playmaking and shot creation that stands out for people. And, if Kiyan Anthony commits, Fennell setting things up for him and Sadiq White, that could be pretty cool to see kind of that triangle of guys as freshmen for Syracuse. So I think it's a good pickup. Again, don't know a whole lot about him, but the things that I've heard are pretty positive.
From the things that you've heard, just to build on that, you mentioned how the three of them playing together. Obviously, I mean, they're at Syracuse. They're going to be on the same team. But is this a type of kid that is going to be ready to go from day one? Or is he going to be someone that's going to have to maybe be more of a developmental piece like an Aaron Womack?
I think he'll be more of a ready on day one type of guy. And we're seeing around the country right now some of these freshmen that are coming in, from overseas, like Igor Dimin, just some of these guys who are coming in and instantly impacting basketball. I think that Luke will have some sort of an impact like that, where he'll come in right away and be somebody that Syracuse looks to. I forget the big man from Illinois who's supposed to be pretty good this year as well. I mean, Will Riley scored 30-plus points. He's a Canadian prospect in his first game. I mean, the dudes that are coming in with the FIBA experience tend to do pretty well. I think Luke will kind of carry that on.
Awesome. So this seems like a really impactful transfer because freshman commit, because I'm not going to lie. I did a mini podcast when he committed and I was like, well, I mean, this is what I know about him. But I mean, a guy in America, there's a star rating attached, right? This guy's a 5-star. He's a 4-star. He's a 3-star. And it gives you a good idea of like what to expect right away from him. With Luke Fennell, it's like, there is no star. He's from Australia. He could be the number 1 player in the class. I don't think he is, but he could be the number 1 player in the class. He can be the number 1,000th player in the class. And you wouldn't really be able to tell on his profile, but good to hear at least that he seems to be more towards number 1, I guess, as a day 1 caliber player.